everybody. Welcome to the drive. It's Cotton. I've got Falco with me. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just on the way home, doing the drive while actually driving for the first time.
Oh, mate. Well, I'm doing the drive at currently 2 miles an hour. So I have no idea why I'm stuck, but it is what it is. So we have something fun today. We have decided to sit back and do the All-Falco team and the All-Cotton team. And Falco has done the AFC team, which is the All-Falco team. And I've done the All-NFC team, the All-Cotton team. And we're going to kind of sit back. We're going to say our players. And we're going to hopefully you all will let us know which team is the best team.
Yes.
So that is the plan for today. So we've done entire offensive line, entire defensive line, wide receivers, cornerbacks, quarterback, safeties, defensive end, outside linebacker, middle linebacker. We've literally picked every position on the offensive line too. So we have put about a week's worth of work into our player selection to bring this to you. So we're pretty jazzed about this one.
Yeah. A lot of work went into this. I'm pretty hyped to see your list. I'm excited to see your list.
I tried. I went through it and I started counting teams and stuff, and I was really surprised at where the majority of my players ended up at, like division, like inside of the conference and stuff like that. So, But anyways, so we'll start with offensive line. We'll start with left tackle, work our way across to right tackle. So, who is your All-Falco left tackle?
Let's see. Let me get my list pulled up here. My left tackle, I went with let me see here. James Daniel, Jacksonville. He's just a star. You rarely ever find superstars or anything really above normal in your offensive line. But James Daniel, he's in my division. He plays for Jacksonville. He's only 28. I'm going to give a little disclaimer. My teams are a little young, but these guys are guys that make, in my opinion, make major impact in the AFC and in the league. And to me, the best left tackle in the AFC right now is James Daniel. He just sets the lines for Jacksonville back when it was Pride's offense, and was a really effective offense. And right now, I mean, it's a pretty okay offense, but the line is just spectacular, and it starts with James Daniel.
I can see that. So I didn't write age down for mine or their ability level, but I think most of mine are not on the offensive line, but in other positions are all superstar X Factor. And I'm sure yours probably are too, except for the O-line.
Yeah.
So I went with the retired left tackle for my All-Cotton team left tackle. It's going to make sense whenever I tell you this, but it's Tyrone Smith from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, he played – so you've got DK, all those winning seasons with him. And I can't remember if Tyrone got released towards the end of it. But anyways, DK was dominant, has continued to be dominant. And Tyrone, left tackle out there, led Zeke into what was one of the best seasons running in MSR, a 16-0 season. So I've got Tyrone Smith holding down my blind side.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, he's always been a force, so that's a solid pick.
Yeah. So let's move in left guard. Who you got?
Yeah, my left guard was a little easier. It's oh shoot, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, had an incoming call. My left guard was really easy for me because he is a Colt. It's Quentin Nelson. The guy's a force. I mean, the guy is a superstar, 94 overall. He has been an absolute key to my offense, running the ball. Can't go anywhere else but Quentin Nelson.
I understand that. That is a really good pick. Even if it came from a team that doesn't win a whole lot, he is a fantastic offensive lineman. So my left guard, I kind of did a little home picking here. I got and I think, he retired. I can't remember when exactly, but I got Joel Bettino. I'm going to butcher his last name, but I traded Little Bear for him like way back when. The dude held down I flipped him around a lot from like right guard to left guard, all that mess. But he finished his career at left guard for me and helped me with his run block, especially for an interior lineman, is ridiculous. The dude was all the time at like second level. There would be times I'm breaking a 20-yard run and Joel is still like pushing the safety down the field.
Wow. Yeah.
So, of course, I took Joel as my, a little homegrown offensive lineman from Minnesota at running back I had to take him. So, but anyway,
running back.
Who do you got at center?
Yeah, my center was, let me see here. I picked David Andrews. He's a retired player. Played a couple of years in the AFC, so that's where I went.
No. Hello?
Yep, can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
Yeah, I went to David Andrews. He's retired, but he was a force in the AFC. So there's where I went.
Okay, awesome. I went home picking again. Sorry ahead of time. But I went Travis Frederick. Not only with the time that I've had him at Minnesota, the dude doesn't ever hardly get beat. He's amazing at the run game. But he also had all that time with Dallas and all of those seasons. So he is like the heart of the interior of my offensive line. So, but we will.
Yeah, he was a great player for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And he's old as dirt and still is doing work for me. So I mean, I can't complain. But we'll kick it over into right guard. Who do you got?
If you don't mind, can you go first? Because I am. That's the one player that I couldn't decide on. So you go ahead. I'm going to do a little bit more research here.
Right guard for me, I got Dakota Green from Atlanta. He's one of the young Dakota Groom. Sorry, Groom, not Green. I can't read my own handwriting. Dakota Groom from Atlanta. And I actually think he is the second youngest lineman on my list. And he still may be like 26 or 27. But, dude, even though Dub doesn't have a ton of wins and stuff, he doesn't get sacked a lot. And Groom holds that interior line down for him phenomenally. So I've took Groom on. So, but anyways, have you decided on your right guard?
Yeah. Jonathan Benson, Kansas City guard, 83 overall. He's that Kansas City line is really legit. So that's who I went with.
No, I can't blame you there. KC's always, J-Rod's always in the championship game or the Super Bowl, so you can't really go along with his offensive line there. So what about right tackle? Who you got?
Right tackle, I went with, let's see. Right tackle, Taron Armstead. Or is it Armstead or Armstead? Armstead. I know he's listed as left tackle, but he did play some time in the right tackle spot. So I went with Taron Armstead.
Oh, it's a good. I may be reaching here. Did he play for the Saints at some point, or?
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Is he a superstar or is he just a star?
I think he was a superstar whenever he was playing. He's retired now, but.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, so my youngest offensive lineman is my right tackle, and that's Nick Frere from the New York Giants.
Yeah.
From the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. But Danny Dimes always off the ground. You got LeBlanc putting up crazy passing numbers. I played Tom last season, and I don't think I got by his right tackle one time. Like he never, and I even tried to user past him just to see if I could get like one of those like button hits that lets me go with a successful move. Not one time did I get past the dude. So it was like, because when I got to right tackle, I was like, well, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to go find Tom's right tackle because I didn't know his name. But the dude was a superstar that was drafted in the second round at like pick 28.
Wow.
Yeah. So y'all quit letting really good offensive linemen fall to Super Bowl contending teams, please. Anyway, so we'll move to what some have called the most useless position in Madden 20, the fullback. Who do you got at fullback?
Solely because not a lot of people in the AFC use a fullback. There's very minimal teams that use an actual fullback. There's a lot of teams that use fullback formations, but it's not a true fullback. So I went looking through the stats, and the only guy that has multiple TDs really in his career is the Dreidel from Indianapolis. He's just the best fullback out there. I drafted him my first rookie draft and dubbed him the Dreidel. So got to go with him.
Oh man, mine was pretty easy because he actually uses the fullback. Was C. Frank's Kent? Oh my God, what is his name? Kent McAllister in New Orleans. He's the only superstar fullback in the NFL in the MSR league. But catches the ball out of the backfield. He runs with him. He utilizes him. I really wanted to use my own fullback here, but I haven't utilized him as much in the past 3 seasons as what I did when I first drafted him. And going and looking at numbers, like McAllister was an easy pick.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to tight end. Who are your 2 tight ends?
Yeah, my first tight end that I went with is the tight end out of Houston, Jameson, Max Jameson. That guy is an absolute monster. I mean, there's nothing bad that I can say about him other than he plays for Houston. He's in my division, so I really hate the guy. I hate playing against him. He's always open. And then the second guy I had was Dallas Goedert from Pittsburgh. I mean, when it was Jay Wood, he was a force. Now with Wakanda, he's still a force. So those were my 2 guys.
Yeah. So my tight ends, I'm going to do them a little bit out of order. I didn't have like a 1 or 2, but I guess technically, this would be my number 1. I got TJ Hawkinson as my number 1. Coherent. But I want the TJ Hawkinson that Coherent throws the ball to, not that I would throw the ball to if he would play for me, because then he wouldn't catch anything. I want the TJ Hawkinson that plays for Coherent that jumps over 3 guys and catches the ball in traffic and doesn't drop anything and blocks like a fiend. I want that TJ Hawkinson because he is an animal. And I hate playing him twice a year. I literally despise seeing him on the other side of the field. Also, and then on the other side, for the other tight end, I went OJ Howard. He always does work for Rhino. And now I will say this: I think the AFC has way better tight ends than the NFC, because you could have went out to the Oba whatever dude name that's at Cincinnati that Little Bear's playing with, that's just putting up ridiculous numbers. You could go out to Cleveland. I mean, there's so many more tight ends in the AFC than there are in the NFC. I feel like that's like the one position when I was looking at, I was like, dang, we suck at tight end.
Yeah, I mean, Houston has 2 guys that I could have used. You know, it's just we have a plethora, that's for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. So let's go to wide receiver. Who are your 4 wide receivers?
Yeah, so first and foremost, went with the retired Julio Jones. He spent, especially when I was in the MSR, he had a couple seasons in New England, so I just kind of put him in the AFC. I mean, the guy's just incredible. And then next on the list, I went with the two Denver guys that are playing right now because those two, to me, that duo is unreal.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, Calvin Dial and Dejon Simon, and last on the list is Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's just an absolute monster. So
You gotta have one burner. I feel like in this 4 wide receiver set.
Yeah,
I feel you there because I have my own burner. So, so wide receiver for me actually was one of the easiest parts for me to pick. Allen Robinson, number one, but it's the Allen Robinson that plays for Taco. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if Allen Robinson were to play for anybody else, it would never work. I've got 2 New York Giant wide receivers on my list. I have MVS and Slayton.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
And then I have my barn burner. I mean, I have the barn burner of barn burners running fourth for me, and that is DK's John Ross.
Yeah, yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Oh, I'm just going to outrun everybody. I'm going to lean back. I'm going to let John Ross, because you're going to be worried about the other 6, the other 3 superstar wide receivers that can literally do anything they want. And there's John Ross just running his 4.240 right up the seam.
yeah. It's definitely a gift to have. Just be able to throw it up and do what you want with him.
It's like he looks like he's covered, but he'll gain like 3 steps somewhere before the ball hits the ground. So it's just like chunk it. Oh Lord. So we'll move to my favorite position group in Madden, the halfback. Who are your 2 halfbacks?
Yeah, my 2 halfback. I went with Joe Mixon. Was one of my guys. I know it's going to surprise some people, but I mean, he's been nothing but consistent, and with under Boone especially, he was an absolute force. So Joe Mixon was my guy, and Melvin Gordon. I mean, Melvin Gordon again was another guy that was super consistent. Jay Wood always wanted to get rid of him. I don't know why, but he was. I mean, the guy was really, really good, and in my opinion, he was the factor that let Jay Wood beat J Rod. I mean, he just had a hell of a game that game, and he was just a hell of a player. So, yeah, I got to go with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with Melvin Gordon either. So my halfbacks, I've got Zeke at number 1.
Yeah,
I think Zeke's fast. He can stiff arm you into next week, and then not only when he stiff arms you, but he like power slams you into the next guy, and then runs for 75 yards and you can't catch him. So not only is he a power back, but he's like super fast. And like I want vintage like season 1 16-0 DK Zeke. I don't want old Zeke. Even though old Zeke's just as good as young Zeke, I just want a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And then running back number 2. And y'all are going, everybody's, yeah, of course you did. JJ3K. I don't care what you say. Yeah. JJ3K is running back number 2 for the All-Cotton NFC pro team. Get over it. Yeah. JJ3K is the greatest running back to ever play in MSR. I don't care what y'all say. He's the best.
Yeah. And I was going to steal him for the AFC because now he plays for the Miami, but for the Dolphins. But I was like, man, I just can't. He's just not the same. No disrespect to you, Smooth, because he's doing some work for you. But just he's so memorable under the Vikings. So I just, out of respect, I had to keep him in the NFC.
Well, the weird thing is DL don't keep up with like kick return stats because like if it kept up all-purpose yards, I think a lot of people like don't notice like how many total yards that JJ has in Miami.
Oh,
like the punt return, kick return, like Smooth's are always starting towards the 50-yard line because of JJ returning kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, JJ3K came home and is playing for the NFC team, and I'm not allowed to like talk to him. He doesn't like me no more. But It is what it is. Quarterback. Who is the heart and soul of the All-Falco team?
Andrew Luck. Yeah.
I would have been mad if I pick Andrew Luck. I'm going to be real
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, it's Andrew Luck. Nobody else.
And there doesn't have to be any explanation for that.
No.
Zero. So, and there isn't any need for explanation on my quarterback either. It's Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So our two quarterbacks played each other in what, flipping 6, 7 Super Bowls against each other. So there's the quarterback was the easiest position to pick for me.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I almost went Trubisky, and then I was like, well hang on. Carson Wentz, all those Super Bowl rings. He always managed the game. He may not have these big, fancy, flashy numbers, but his TD to interception ratio is ridiculous whenever he's at Philly. So that was easy. And it's the same thing with Andrew Luck at, in Kansas City. It's just stupid. The numbers are dumb.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, we'll move to the what would be the winner, the ultimate defenses, probably the powerhouse stuff here. Who are your defensive tackles?
Yeah, we did two, right? Yeah. So my first one was Alex Thompson. I just think he's an absolute monster. He's a Colt. I know I'm going to get a bunch of backlash for picking some Colts, and we don't win much. But anybody who's ever played me, I mean, Alex Thompson gets a sack every game I play. It may not make a difference, but every game I play, he gets a sack. And
next this season, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines?
Yeah. I mean, last season, I think I had 24, if I'm not mistaken, with him. I mean, he's a monster.
Yeah.
He's an absolute monster. And then my second defensive tackle, I went with Chris Jones. He's a force himself. I mean, 24 sacks last season, 14 right now, 15 2024. He's always in double digits. He has a touchdown this season. I mean, that guy's just a monster.
No. So I like both of yours. So my defensive tackles, Fletcher Cox, the number one.
Yeah.
Who was the most dominant defensive tackle in MSR. Like, hands down, Fletcher Cox was the most dominant defensive tackle. And then for my second defensive tackle, I went to DeForest Buckner.
Yeah, he's a force too.
His lowest sack total his entire career in the MSR was 12. It was 12. So he has had over 12 sacks every season in MSR as a defensive tackle. And I think that's stupid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's kind of hard to look at because daily leagues don't keep up with like tackle for losses, which I would like to see. That would be just as like a big stat for a defensive, like an interior lineman would be their tackle for losses. But it's like, it's an impossible stat just to find. Unless it's dumb. But let's move on to the edge rushers. I'm interested to see who are your edge rushers for your All-Falco team.
So I went with Ngakoue as one of my guys, and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Those guys, they just produce sacks left and right. And Ngakoue isn't the highest rated guy. I mean, he was my left end. Not the highest rated, but man, the guy he's constantly pressuring the quarterback. I played him a couple times once with Wakanda, once with Jay Wood, and it was just stupid. I would drop back and he was already there. Like there was nothing I could do to stop him. So I was gonna go with Daniel Hunter, but from Indy, but he doesn't do much. He's got a 99 overall. He's an X factor, but he doesn't do shit. So gotta go with Ngakoue.
Oh Lord. Now I will say this: I feel like the edge rush from like a defensive end standpoint in the NFC is not the best. But I have Nick Bosa as number
Yep.
one, and I have Tack McKinley, who surprisingly, if you look at stats, has ridiculous numbers in Atlanta. And I feel like it goes unnoticed for the simple fact that Dub is, he's like a middle of the road player like myself. He doesn't like Tack McKinley's got all these sacks. I think it would be more noticeable if he brought attention to it. But Tack
Yeah.
McKinley silently like racked up the sacks in MSR. So I've got Tack on the edge.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people will, but I promise you, if you go look at the stats, now that you've heard me say Tack McKinley from Atlanta, you'll look at his stats and go, all right, I can see that. But so outside linebacker, I'm interested to see if you went straight rush or if you like pass coverage in this or if you just like went straight for the edge rush. So who do you got?
Yeah, I kind of mixed it up. I went with Edmonds from Pittsburgh. Now this guy, it's interesting because this guy he's a stat sheet filler, but he's only a star. So he was one of my guys. Like he's a ball hawk. Like he's not one of these guys that has abilities and bails out, that your team with a forced fumble or, he's just a very solid player. And he just made a lot of noise. Which, looking at it, I was really surprised about his productivity and, granted his ability level. But
sure.
if anybody plays Pittsburgh, I mean, he gets 5 to 6 tackles a game. It seems like the guy's just he's just a force. And then for my other guy, I went Miles Jack. Jacksonville. Miles Jack is just crazy good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't argue with any of those. So I don't have any pass coverage outside linebackers at all. Zero.
Yeah.
I am screaming to the quarterback is my plan. I have Khalil Mack on one side, and I have Montez Sweat on the other.
Yeah.
I'm screaming at the quarterback off the edge. That is the plan on Team Cotton, is that you're just not going to pass the ball. But anyway,
when I was looking at the list, like I saw those two guys, and I was like, I had a feeling Montez Sweat was going to be one of your guys. But I mean, the guy is a monster, so don't blame me there one bit.
And it's like I have went to Rhino, I think twice, and been like, "Hey, let me hold on to Montez Sweat," and he's like, "Hey, let me hold on to your whole team," and I don't blame him. Montez Sweat is an animal in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to the inside, middle linebacker. So who are your two middle linebackers?
Actually, I misspoke. Edmonds is a middle linebacker. I misspoke. Yeah, he's my middle linebacker. My other linebacker was Bradley Chubb, my outside linebacker.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Bradley Chubb was my outside linebacker. He does a lot of shit for I. The guy is really, really good. My bad, misspoke. But middle linebacker was Tremont Edmond, and I also had Bradley Price out of Jacksonville. He's
the interception machine.
Yeah, an absolute machine. I mean, a ball hawk. He led the league in interceptions his rookie year at the middle linebacker position. So, or was up there. I mean, I don't remember if he ended up finishing leading, but he was up there. I mean, he had 15 or 16 interceptions. So yeah, he was my other middle linebacker.
No, I don't think you can go wrong there. So my middle linebackers are Roquan Smith, who no longer plays in the NFC, but was dominant when he played for Little Bear.
Yeah.
So I've got Roquan, and I have Devin White, who also no longer plays in the NFC, but spent time in Tampa Bay and Washington.
Yeah.
I think all but one season for both of those guys have been in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So Devin, the middle linebacker position for me was really, really hard. Roquan Smith was easy, but finding that second guy for me was tough. I almost went with my Lattimore, but he doesn't have a ton of like interceptions and stuff, and I think it's because I user him, and not a lot of people throw at people's user. I know mine's not the best. I'm not trying to be like, oh my god, my user's the best, but you try and stick away from it just because of animations.
Right. Yeah.
But I think Devin White, his speed is, and he just destroyed. He had a ton of forced fumbles, if I remember correctly, and that had a lot to do with why I picked him. Let's skip over the cornerbacks because I'm really interested to see who your cornerbacks are. And what's your strong safety and free safety? Who do you got?
Yeah, so my strong safety, I went with, let's see here. Who did I go with? Jamal Adams. The guy's an enforcer. He's just crazy good. Crazy good. Yeah. So Jamal Adams was my strong safety. I mean, the guy's just he's not always around the ball. Just BMT. He hasn't made a lot of noise, but the guy averages like 6 forced fumbles a season. So you can't beat that productivity. And for my free safety, I went Justin Reed from Pittsburgh. X Factor, 97 overall. The guy's just been crazy good.
And I agree. I think they're both great. And so I'm going to catch flack for my safeties because, and I'm going to ask a silly question. Because Derwin James plays for the Cowboys now, right?
Yes. No. He plays for Houston now.
Oh, but did he play for Dallas at some point?
Yes.
Okay. See, I forgot that until about 37 seconds ago. So I apologize. My safeties may not be up to par because I totally forgot that I could have picked Derwin James. But anyways, we're just not going to go there. I have Jabril Peppers at strong safety for the New York Giants, the big blue wrecking crew. Jabril is all over the place all the time when Tom plays, and he'll punch you in the face, and he can cover the ball. So that's why I took him. And I took Buda Baker as my free safety for the same reason. He has a ton of forced fumbles, a handful of interceptions, and a ton of tackles.
I love Buda.
Yeah. I will stick by those two safeties, even though I made a bonehead move and could have had Derwin James. I apologize.
Yeah, you could have had 2 enforcers, but it's all right. I'll take it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Cornerback. Who are your 3 corners?
Yeah, this was really easy for me. This was next to quarterback. This was the easiest position for me to fill. Jalen Ramsey, he played for Jacksonville. He shut down the whole half of the field. So no question there. Denzel Ward for Cleveland. The guy, 97 speed, 97 acceleration, 97 awareness. I mean, come on. And then my last guy, Adoree Jackson, the Titans version. There was 2 seasons where nobody completed a pass against him. That's an unbelievable stat. My first 2 seasons, not a single pass was awarded under if it was thrown in Jackson's direction. That's crazy.
Was it Rev Adoree Jackson or was that Bones Adoree Jackson?
Boone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Boone's. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I like your safeties. I think Jalen Ramsey is fantastic. And then Ward out at Cleveland is just ridiculous. And like you said, Adoree Titans version was stupid.
Yeah.
And so my cornerbacks, It's Attack of the Doppelgangers. Jalen Ramsey is number one.
Nice.
I was wondering if this was going to happen. The only position I thought it could have happened, and it happened. I was like, we're both going to have Jalen Ramsey at cornerback.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I have
it was bound to happen.
Oh, for sure. I've got Kyle Fuller from Chicago at number 2, and then I have Carter Baxter. I think I pronounced his name right. The other Chicago cornerback. Because I don't care what you say, when you play taco, his corners go, nah, fam, I'm just going to take that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a pretty easy pick. I had a hard time with my third cornerback on my side. I went through looking at stuff, and then I finally settled on Taco's second corner, who's actually, I think it may be his starting corner now. But anyways, that's the All-Phalco, All-Cotton MSR teams there. I don't know. My honest opinion is that the NFC side would kill the All-Phalco team. I'm just saying.
Well, we'll find out.
Oh yeah, that would be. It's interesting. I'm super interested to see what people say, who they think would win and wouldn't win, and who they actually think if there should have been somebody else instead of somebody that's listed. You all will have the opportunity to do that. I'm going to volunteer Falco to start a poll because I'm really, really bad at Twitter. And so you'll have the option to vote for Team Cotton or Team Falco. And I hopefully will have a nice little surprise for you all in a couple of days regarding these two teams. I'm kind of excited about this.
Yes.
So it should be super, super fun. But anyways, Falco, you got anything you want to leave with on?
Nope. Other than just keep supporting each other's content and all that good stuff that we mentioned on every piece of content that we let out. Because it starts with the community. So just putting that out there again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm on the same boat with Falco. Just support everybody, listen to stuff, interact with stuff. Be active, retweet people's tweets, even if it's about you losing. Some people have fun with the Twitter accounts. I know some people think they're but some people really enjoy them, and it's hard when only like the 3 people are interacting with you constantly.
Yeah.
So, but you've got all the stuff. You've got Heartless doing the Photoshop class, which I forgot to mention the last time at the end. You've got the Blitz. You've got New Dawn. You've got Fick and Taco. You've got Wakanda doing his stuff with his highlights and the MSR Showdown highlights. You've got Little Bear and Wakanda and J-Rod doing draft stuff. You've got Joey doing draft stuff. Also, Team Joey and going to sweep the Broncos, and I'm going to look like a super genius. Had to get that little 1-2 in there. But I feel, and there's a lot of dudes. Dub is helping with the draft stuff now. You've got TJ, which anybody who was in chat the other day saw it. TJ will be joining us hopefully every Wednesday from now on after this episode. We thought about bringing him on, but I'm sorry, TJ. I was like, I want to do one last big Cotton and Falco thing before we bring on a third wheel. So I apologize. But TJ will be a constant member of the drive from this point forward. Am I forgetting anybody? I always feel like I forget somebody.
Just Hoff is doing his playoff thing.
Yes, Hoff in the fantasy football. That's right. You there? Hello? Hello? Well, I I may have lost Falco at the end, but I appreciate all of y'all. Keep following each other's content, and we will catch you next week on the drive.